Thank you, Maddie, and welcome everyone to our 12 days of card making. We are on day 5 of our 12 days of card making. So if you've missed some of the classes already, you can go to our YouTube channel and see some of the previous classes, but then that means there's 7 more classes at least that you still have time to sign up for. So make sure that you go ahead. Today, this class is quick and easy holiday cards with me, Meghan Fahey, and I'm going to be showing you exactly that, something very quick, very easy, but very elegant in order for you to send to anyone this holiday season. So all you're going to need for this class is going to be a paper stack, some adhesive, and some blank cards. If you have a paper cutter, that would be awesome. But if you just have a pair of scissors, that's fine too. You can make that work for you. I'm going to show you some tips on how I personally make cards. I love sending these cards out to people. I love adding a little extra pop of interest and things like that. So I'm really going to show you how to use the paper stacks from Michaels to make some really cool cards, and you can make a ton of them quickly. So I'm so glad that so many of you have joined us live. Thank you for coming. We really appreciate that. Let's go ahead and switch over to my other camera, and I'm going to take a look at some of the things we're going to talk about today. So today we're going to be working on these kinds of cards. So what's special about these cards is that there's a little pop. So we're going to use some foam adhesive to give it a little lift from the card. There's going to be some cute little sentiments, some beautiful different matching paper. I like to make sets. So all of these come from the same paper stack. So I love how that same paper stack can give you a really different feel. We can have some that are more holiday. We can have some that are specifically Christmas, whatever it is that kind of suits your needs. But you'll also notice on these cards, besides the little pop out kind of feature to it, that I'll be using some die cuts. So this is the particular pack of die cuts I'm going to be using. It has lots of really cool sentiments like this, wishing you a Merry Christmas. It also has some cool stickers, and I'm going to show you how to use those stickers because, believe it or not, these bells are actually a sticker that I put onto something else and really help that sticker pop out. So I'm going to show you how to use those stickers and pretend like those stickers are die cuts too. So if you buy yourself a pack of these blank cards, I recommend right now with Christmas having that gold foil around the edge. These are beautiful 5x7 cards. They really make for something nice coming in the mail to friends and family. And then we're going to use this paper stack. Today we're going to focus on the Winter Wonderland paper stack. I'm just going to kind of flip through for you to see some of these things. Look at how pretty this stack is. There's reds, there's blues. So you can kind of do like a beautiful nighttime Christmas or some really happy red brights. And then a little pop of holly and a little pop of poinsettia here and there. And I think you're really going to like this pack. So with this pack and with this set of die cuts, I was able to create all 6 of these cards. So I usually leave my cards blank inside. If you want to, you can always then go back and maybe make some sort of saying or make some sort of like little update or things that you want to email, you want to glue in here. You can print it out and glue it in here. But I'm going to kind of walk you through some of these different cards. This one says sending holiday cheer. I love that gold touch on this that matches that gold going around it. Here's one that says happy holidays with a beautiful poinsettia. All is merry and bright is this one. And give love and spread cheer. So all of these were created using just these die cuts and this pack of paper. So let's go ahead and get started and show you how to do it. So first, what we're going to do is find a die cut that we're interested in. So we'll flip through here. And I'm going to show you some of the die cuts because some of them are stickers and some of them are true die cuts, which means they're kind of like a cardboard or a little bit thicker. So we have some that are stickers, and you'll notice that the stickers are actually see-through. I don't know if you can tell that on the camera or not, but the stickers are actually a little bit see-through, which is fun because you can put them onto different colors. But for our purposes, we're actually going to mount them on something else so that you can't see through them. Now, one other option you do have, though, is to take these stickers, and after you've created the outside, you can always go in and put this sticker down in here too and have your little holiday message, or maybe have this somewhere else. And you can kind of keep the stickers and use them as stickers. These are die cuts, but they actually do have this perforation on here that you can turn them into stickers as well. I leave them as die cuts because that's how I get that pop, but you're welcome to change that also. So let's go ahead and try and make this card together. I started with this particular sticker. It is kind of see-through, and I'm going to back it on some white paper. And then you also notice some of those sentiments. So what's cool about these paper packs is not only do they have all these different designs, but there's usually at least 1 or 2 pages that have some writing and have some words on it. So I'm going to find for you one of the pages. So this page has all these shorter little sayings, and these are the sayings that I used in order to kind of make the bottom portion of some of my cards. So I'm going to rip this page out because I'm going to use those sentiments. And then there is another page of sentiments in the same pack. I'm going to show you that one. Here it is. And so you can use some of these different sentiments too, and use some of these designs that are kind of already meant for cards. That's why they're certain sizes. You can use this on the inside if you want to have a holiday message inside and write it on a little bit of a fancier piece of paper. If you want to have name tags or gift tags, you can use those for other crafting besides just card making. So now I am going to be using my paper cutter, but if you don't have a fancy paper cutter, that's okay. You can still use scissors or anything else you might want to use. And I'm going to be cutting down this warm winter wishes, joyful tidings, all is merry and all is bright. So I'm going to be lining that up on my paper cutter. And I'm going to leave that gold trim at the top. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut it on the other side too. And then what's nice about this little strip I just cut is that I can take this and make it into 3 different cards. So they have these dots separating them, so you can cut it before or after the dot. I'm going to cut each one of these before the dot. And then I have this sentiment that says warm winter wishes. Maybe I leave the dot on this one, and I have a dot on either side of joyful tidings. And I have all is merry and bright. And I'm going to cut that dot off and leave that. So these are all going to be helpful. And another thing I like to do is when I start taking apart these paper packs, I like to sometimes collect all my little pieces into something like this. So we have plenty of these at Michael's too that can kind of help you organize. So maybe the rest of my die cuts and the other things that I'm not going to use quite yet, I can put into this stack. I like to kind of keep them and have one little box for each of the different color collections. So if I decide to use a different color collection, I can keep those together. So you might have seen these other die cuts were sitting in my box because there's a whole different colorway you could choose to go down. So I chose this Winter Wonderland kind of theme for my cards. But one of the other paper stacks I really like this year is called Holiday Cheers. And it's these reds and pinks that are really pretty with like a pop of brown. So kind of like a gingerbread and kind of like these little towns and Christmas things. So there are also some die cuts that go along with those that have little gingerbread houses and have little gingerbreads. And they can give you a whole different kind of look and feel. So if you don't want to use the first stack, maybe you want to use the second stack, and then you can get a different set of die cuts that would kind of look nice with this too. So there's another question in the chat that's talking about pre-cut designs. So yeah, if you have a Cricut machine or something like that, you can always make your own sentiments and make your own die cuts. So that's a great idea. And if you take one of the people who is in our class today suggested if you take some of your old Christmas cards, you can cut those and reuse those in a really fun, interesting kind of upcycle way to create new cards for this year. So I think that's a great idea too. All right, so now that I've shown you both of those colorways and some of those options, let me get back to my All is Merry and Bright card that I'm gonna make. So I need some background paper. I'm gonna have this red kind of diamond paper and this green paper. So I'm gonna go back to my stack and I'm gonna find those two. The red diamond paper and the green lines. Here are the green lines. I'm just going to pull that out. And the red diamond paper. Might have already, oh, there it is. Perfect. And you can either have a piece of white cardstock, or if you don't have any white cardstock, you can always use the back of a paper, a scrap that you that you aren't going to use. So if you've already cut something, you can always use the back if you aren't going to use the rest of it. And what we're going to do with this one is we're going to mount our sticker. So here's my sticker. I'm going to go ahead and use the scrap paper. And I'm going to put the sticker onto something white to give it that nice color background for it, or that nice white bright background. I'm going to pull up this sticker. And these are great quality stickers. They're really nice, almost like vellum. And I'm going to put it onto this white paper. And then we're going to do something called a kiss cut, which is kind of like me following the lines and kind of following that pattern along the outside rim of the sticker. So first I might just kind of trim around the sticker in general, and then I'm going to go in with a lot more precision and kind of match that design. So I don't know if you can see on the camera where the lines are at the end of the sticker, but I'm not going to cut exactly at the end of the sticker. I'm going to cut a little bit of a border around it. And I recommend some kind of smaller scissors to be able to kind of get in all these corners. Here we go. And I really like this cute little hanging plant with that beautiful bow. Those red bows are everywhere this Christmas. I mean, they're here every year for Christmas, but especially very popular this year. Bows are kind of showing up everywhere. And I'm just cutting and following the outside of that sticker with just a little bit of an allowance around it so that I'm not cutting exactly on the sticker. And this is already looking pretty good. So the cards with the gold foil on the edge are 5x7s, and I'm going to keep those measurements in mind while I am doing my next section. So a question asked, do the shorter blade scissors work better? I do think it is helpful to have a shorter blade scissor or a smaller pair of scissors than one of those large ones when I'm working with something kind of so exact. So on our card, our red diamonds are going to be our background. And remember I said the card was 5x7. So on my paper cutter, I'm going to go to my 5 inches and I'm going to cut. And then I'm going to line up to my 7-inch mark on my paper cutter. And I'm going to cut. And now I have a perfectly 5x7 piece of paper. But what you're going to see is that the card is exactly 5x7, so this exactly cuts it up. Now I don't want to exactly cover it up. I want that gold foil to show. So I do want to trim this down a little bit, but I like to cut my paper 5x7 before I decide how to trim it. So to kind of keep the pattern even, see how this is blank over here, but this has those little tiny bits on this side. So I'm going to cut down on this side in order to kind of make the paper match up a little better. So I'm going to cut that border that way. And I'm going to do the same thing looking at my paper. It looks like this is blank, but down here has that little row of extra stars. So I'm going to cut that extra row down a little bit. And now we're going to have a piece of paper that's going to show off some of our gold. So it's a little bit thinner, but has that really nice being able to show that gold off. Now I'm going to use a tape runner. So there's lots of different tape runners. This is a Recollections tape runner. And I also tend to use double-sided tape. And I'll even show you later on one of my big guns. I got a really big tape runner because I'm a professional and sometimes I need fancy things. So a tape runner or double-sided tape is great for everyone. I'm going to go ahead and put this down. And before I press it down, I'm definitely going to try and center it as best I can. There we go. And then I want a little bit of green because I don't want to go straight. I could go straight with this, but I like this little bit of green border too behind it. So I'm going to cut that down using my green stripes. So this sticker, or now it's a die cut, is about 3 inches wide. So we want to make it a little bit wider than 3 inches. So I'm going to go to 3.5. And then the length of this, let's see what the length is going to be. Maybe I'm going to go to about 5 to give that plenty of space on there. So I'm going to go over here and cut on my paper cutter to 5 inches. So now we have about 3.5 by 5. And we have a nice place to put this pop of this sticker. And I'm going to go ahead and add some foam. So there's 2 different kinds of Recollections foam. There's some that have circles and there's some that have squares. It really doesn't matter which of these you choose to use, circles or squares. They're both going to do the trick. What's nice about this adhesive foam is it's going to pop that sticker out this amount from the picture or from the rest of your card. So I'm going to use some of these circles and I'm going to put them onto the back. And I usually just do about 4 of these dots. I don't do just one in the center, although you could if you were trying to be careful with your resources. But I think usually about 4 makes for a nice pop on the card. These are double-sided, so you need to take off the backing of them too. There we go. Got to peel off all these little tiny stickers. And then I'm going to put it nicely onto this green striped background. There we go. Let's see where I like it. Maybe right about here. And then I have my 4 dots that are giving it some space away from the card so that it really kind of pops out. And then I'm going to use my tape runner again, and I'm going to center this. And then I'm going to use my sentiment also. You can choose to pop your sentiment, but I usually only like to pop 1 element per card. So for this one, it's going to be more of this holly wreath. I'm going to make this sentiment flat. So I'm going to use my tape runner. And I'm going to find a spot. So I'm going to cover up this row of diamonds right here with that merry and bright, and that helps me stay pretty straight and looks pretty good with the rest of the design. And then I can go ahead and find a space for this one. And I'm kind of covering up the tips a little bit and leaving a nice row of diamonds at the top. So then I'm going to use some tape runner on this one. There we go. And I'll line that up. Perfect. So this is beautiful with the all is merry and bright, has that little pop of extra fun. I loved pop-up cards and things like that when I was little. Something that shakes, something that pops out, something that's even more exciting than your typical card that you would get in the mail. So this is already looking cute. There are some more options we have. We could take one of the stickers from that same pack and we could use it on the inside. So for example, I have this stocking. I can always take this sticker and kind of place it in here, just like as another kind of, hey, how are you doing? And then there's still plenty of space for you to write a verse. You could use a stamp, or you can just write your message or glue a message in. So feel free to use the stickers as stickers, or to use them and mount them on some cardstock and have something really cute like that. Now, one more final touch you may or may not want to do is my parents bought me this stamp for Christmas last year because they like getting my Christmas cards in the mail. And so they got me this stamp that says my Instagram handle and my name on it, so that when somebody receives this card, they know that it was handmade by me. So that's kind of fun to do. And another fun thing to do is if you ever decide to sell your cards and things like that too, I like to sometimes package them together and use my little stamp to show that this package was made by me. So there we go. That's the first one. Let's keep making and see what else we come up with. So maybe this time we're going to kind of rifle through and figure out, those of you who are with me live, let's see if there's any of these that kind of spark your interest. So tell me if there's one of these that you really want to kind of use as the focal point. And we'll pick one of these and we'll find some papers and kind of do the whole process together. Anyone see one that they like? I love these. These are looking really cool. So some are stickers and some are cardboard. I'm seeing sleigh bells and happy holidays. I kind of want to work with this happy holidays one because I don't think I've tried that yet. But I'll put the sleigh bells to the side. Looks like that got a couple votes. Awesome. Thank you for participating. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Okay, we'll see what we can make together. Then we're going to pick out some background colors and do some different things. I think Sleigh Bells Ring is the only one that's a sticker. The other two are cardstock. So let's see what we can do with those. What I like to do is I sometimes like to go through my paper stack and start kind of collecting some of the different colors. And then I'll try like, do I like this on this? And the answer is yes, I love this on this. This looks really great. But you can try it on lots of different papers because they're so nice to mix and match that they actually look really nice on several of them. So that's awesome. I might even just go for this gold with the bells. I think I might have already solved that puzzle pretty easily. Okay, we'll find a home for happy holidays too. It is a tough decision. I'm glad y'all are here to help me through this. So let's flip through the stack and find some more fun inspiration too. There's beautiful poinsettia paper. This is lovely. And if this gets to be too busy, we can always think about finding some papers that are solids. So I believe in the stack, there's a solid red, if I remember right, or the solid blue. It's not totally solid, but it's a lot less busy. I think there's oh, there it is, a red one too. So I'll show you how we can use these solid colors to kind of calm down something that may otherwise be a little bit overwhelming. So one of the things I'm thinking of with the Happy Holidays paper is this red, and kind of backing it with this red and doing that cut around like we did before, and then finding a paper for it. So I think that's what I'm thinking for the Happy Holidays. And then keep thinking about the ho, ho, ho. If you see anything for the ho, ho, ho that you think you might like, let me know. And we'll go ahead and try and make all three of these. Might need something more like this. I don't think it'll do well on that background. Might blend in a little too much. Yeah, I like some of the blues. We could put this light blue with it and then put it onto the flowers. That could work. These are larger, so it doesn't get lost, which is a little nicer. That's kind of fun. Yeah, I saw that. Snowflake one is pretty nice too. I love the gold foil on some of these. They just go so well. I like that, but is that too wallpaper for y'all? Does that look like wallpaper? I don't know. I kind of like it. So we'll come back to this one. We'll keep thinking about the ho ho ho. Let's do the other two first. Need to not lose that guy. All right, Sleigh Bells Ring, I think is going to look really easy, really simple on this. So I'm going to cut this paper to be 5 by 7. And remember, I'm just cutting 5 by 7 before I decide where else I want to trim it. So on this one, I think I might want to trim this side off. Maybe a little on both sides to kind of even it up. There's one side. Trim down. And here's the second side. Trim down. Cool. I think I need to sharpen my paper cutter. You can see a little bit of the paper is not quite cutting all the way through. And then for the top and bottom, I think I'm going to go cut down here and cut off this little bit of row at the top and match it to the bottom where it's just starting and just finishing a row of the diamonds. Then we take another one of our 5 by 7 cards. And now I'm going to pull out the big gun. Are you ready? I wasn't kidding. This is the big gun. It's a Scotch Advanced Tape Glider. I know. Now, once you become a little bit obsessed with cards like me, then you think you need something really big and really fun like this. So I can make a lot more cards with this tape glider. You do not need this, but maybe you want this. Put it on your Christmas list. So I use it almost like a gun where I'm pulling this trigger and I'm just putting a line of adhesive on it. I know, it's very cool. I know, you think that it's like, is that really necessary, Megan? But then after a while, the answer is, yeah, it is necessary. And yes, it is fun. So I need to make sure that I have my card so that it opens correctly. I'm going to go ahead and put it down. I know, I told you I had a big gun. And then we have our sticker. We can mount it if we want to. I don't think we need to. I think it looks really nice. So I'm just going to go ahead and add the adhesive foam. And this is the quick and easy part. You don't have to make it more complicated than it needs to be. Make them quick, make them easy. You can make a whole dozen cards in just one sitting. You can make 50 cards after you watch your favorite TV show. So then you're ready for Christmas. So just have fun, grab a paper stack, grab some die cuts, mix and match to your heart's content. So here I use those circular adhesive foam again. And this adhesive foam, I'm going to put one more here just because I don't want it to fall down on that side. So I'm using these dots and taking off these pieces. There's a question in the chat that says on the Mega, do you use the double stick yellow tape refills? And the answer is yes. So if you know what Pauline is talking about, which I do, yes, you do use these rolls that have, they have a yellow on the outside, and that's how you refill those. I might have one of those to show you in just a moment. But yeah, I got that as a gift and I love it. So there's no stopping me now. So I'm going to find a good placement for this. Let me take my time and line it up. Beautiful. Wasn't that quick and easy? And doesn't that look super professional and very elegant? Love it. So we're 2 cards down and we're just 30 minutes in and you're learning. So you can knock out a lot of these cards in a short amount of time once you really get in the hang of it. So here's our happy holidays. I'm going to go ahead and attach this to this red paper. And I do think I'm going to go ahead and cut this paper down. And I think I'm going to kind of match the shape of this one like I did with the sticker, but you're going to be able to see a lot better what I'm doing since it's a red background instead of a white background. So let me go ahead and put this down. I also use double-sided tape. So if you don't have the big gun and if you don't have a tape runner, I do use a lot of double-sided tape when doing these projects too. I don't recommend glue stick, and I don't recommend liquid glue because I think it just gets a little bit too mushy and it doesn't keep a nice crisp card, or you might accidentally get some bubbles and things like that. So now this time you're going to be able to see a lot better what I'm trying to do by following these outside lines. Might not be perfect, but I am definitely trying to follow those cuts as best I can and give it just that little bit of extra with the rim of red around it. Not going to go crazy with all the little details, but I am going to try and match it as best I can. Here we go. So there's a comment in the chat that says, oh, somebody else said that they like putting the foam just in the center to give it a floating effect. I like that because then it does give your sentiment or your picture a little bit of movement, a little bit of wiggle too. So yeah, you can just put one of the foam dots in the center and that can work nicely if you want to try that method. Somebody else said that they worked with a student who was making cards all the time and would buy 15 cases of the refills each year. So they had a big gun and they definitely used it. So that's funny. I like that. I'm not mad at this paper that we are it on. I think we could make this work really nicely. I think we just happened to stumble upon a really nice combination. So I'm going to grab another one of my cards and I'm going to cut this green down to the 5x7 size of the card. Here's my 5 inches. And here's my 7. And I think with this one, we're not going to have as hard of a time deciding how to cut this down because it looks pretty nice. So I'm just going to take a little edge off of this and a little edge off of this. And there's nothing really in the design we need to center or worry about too much. I really like this holiday set too. I think it's so many pretty colors. So I'm just cutting down a little border on each side. I might have cut more, and I think I'm going to do that on purpose. So on this one, I'm going to leave you with the gold border and I'm going to leave you with the white. So I'm going to cut this down even more so that you're going to be able to see some of the white also. So I'm going to cut this even smaller. So at this point, we're at about 4.5 instead of the 5 that we were at the beginning. So for 4.5, that's going to give us a little white border too, if you can see what I'm talking about between the gold and the white. And then for this one, since we were at 7, let's go to 6.5 for this one. So 4.5 by 6.5 is going to leave a really nice, oops, nope, just kidding. Was I at 6.5? Yeah. I'll go down to 6. This is going to be too short. I know it is a good way to disguise a cutting error. You're right. So don't get mad at yourself if you cut your rectangle too short. Find a way to make a new design. We just made a new design and I really like this one. So this is going to be nice with that extra white border. And then we have our happy holidays. And I like how it kind of overlaps and kind of plays off of that. We could also decide to go this way. What do you think? Should I do it horizontal or should I do it vertical? I think horizontal. Yes, thank you. All right, here we go. I'm gonna use some adhesive. This time just for picks, I'm gonna use a double-sided tape. The landscape it is. Thank you for your help. And when I use my double-sided tape, it is a precious commodity to me. And so I don't always use tape all the way down the sides, but I make sure to definitely do pretty long pieces at each of the corners. So it's okay with me if I leave like this much and don't use double-sided tape for the whole entire thing. But I do try to get it as close to the edge as I can, and I do try and get it all the way to the corners so that there's no way for the paper to kind of creep up on someone. So I put it all the way as close to the edge as I could and all the way as close to the corner as I could. But I'm kind of being a little bit more scarce with my resources because I don't want to have to buy too many of them. So now I have enough going all the way around, and I have this lovely white border that I'm using. Make sure my card opens in the right direction. Leaving that white border, putting this green paper down. Love that white border, it looks really nice. And then we have decided on this landscape horizontal. And so this is going to be a good place for us to put this. I'm going to put 2 dots just right over here and right over here this time. There we go. The table is shaking a little today. Sorry if you're hearing my clanking. There we go. Love it. Yay! We're 3 cards down. We're on our way. So now let's go back to the challenge y'all gave me with this ho 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 one. So now we need to figure out what to put with the ho ho ho. We had some blue. We can think about that. Let's see what else we had. I'm going to grab my paper stack and bring it back over so you can see it. And let's talk about this one. We can put it on a blue background, which will let us put it on a lot of different kinds of paper. We can leave it as is and put it onto something more basic like this red and white. We can also put it onto something. I really like this one. I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm kind of drawn to this. I'm going to cut it out. And if you think it looks dumb, then we won't use it. But I kind of like it. All right, I'm going to cut it down to 5 by 7. And even if I don't end up using it, then I know I can find another sentiment and another card that could use this beautiful piece. So I'm cutting this down to 5 by 7. And then I am going to kind of look at the design and figure out how I need to make it work. So it looks like I need to cut off a little bit down here. I do think it's going to need a contrast too. I think you're right. So glad you guys are playing along with me and helping me out. It's fun to kind of do this with other people. So even though I love making cards, it's more fun to make cards with other people. So I'm so glad you're here today. Maybe you can take this video and watch it again with some more of your friends. Grab a couple stacks of paper and some adhesives, and you all can kind of hang out together and make these. All right. So I know that you said I probably need a darker color, and I think you're right, as I am not quite as satisfied with that as I was before. Let's see if this blue helps us at all. I'm going to cut a strip. My paper cutter. My blade fell out of my paper cutter. That was not planned. Good thing I have backup paper cutters. I have so many paper cutters and I love them all for different reasons and in different ways. Okay. Are we getting closer? I'm still not in love with that yet either. Let's keep trying. What if we put this blue onto the poinsettia? Does anyone have a feeling about that? That could work. Let's try it. Thanks, Maddie. So I'm going to do a little 5 by 7 of this poinsettia. And this is the fun part of kind of going through and seeing all the different supplies you have and really just making things work. It's a lot of fun. And I can decide if I want to kind of kiss cut this or if I just want to go with it with the blue. And I honestly think I like it as the blue. Now, instead of, I did change paper cutters. Thank you for noticing, because I threw off the blade of the other one onto the floor somewhere, and I don't know where it went. And since we're in the middle of a live class, I've switched to another paper cutter. You are absolutely correct. I like this. So I think this looks really nice. I'm going to leave it as a square. I'm not going to kind of kiss cut it like the other one. So I think I'm going to go ahead and use my adhesive and make this one work. I think I only cut this to 5x7, so I do want to cut it down a little bit longer. Be careful not to step on it. Thank you. And I am barefoot, so I appreciate that. Thank you. I will not. I will not move until I find it. All right, I'm going to cut this down and trim it. This is one where the Recollections one is a lot like this one too. Do I have a round cutter for the blue? That's a great question. So I do have a couple of those card making punches that can punch a circle on purpose. I don't have them right here with me in my studio right now. Otherwise, I would try and pull that out and show you. I like the gold border on this one. I do think I like the square. I might make the square just slightly smaller. No. Make sure that it is a square. We'll do 4. Just about 4x4, a little notch before that. Paper cutters. You can tell I do a lot of this because I definitely use all my tools. There, I like that. I like that a lot. So you can decide if you want this whole paper to pop or if you want just the sentiment to pop. And honestly, I think I want the sentiment to pop. So I'm going to glue these down and then I'm going to pop it with the foam right here. Double-sided tape, any of your runners, any of the big guns you want to use, feel free to use those. They're all good. I recommend all of them. And I think someone said earlier in the comments too that they talked about getting photos. This mounting that I'm doing with the double-sided tape is exactly how I would mount photos if I wanted to put photos onto something like this. You might want to put a backing paper and you might want to use double-sided tape on your photo before you place the photo on a card like this. I always recommend some kind of signature for you too as the artist when you're making your cards. So even if you don't have a fancy stamp like me, you might have just like a little pen, a little Sharpie or something to write in the corner. Or a lot of times I like to write my Instagram handle on the back. So that's fun too. So there's a question that says if you put a piece of foam in the middle, it will help keep the whole piece popped up. So I think with this one, we'll go ahead and try that technique too. So let me go ahead and put this flat by adding my double-sided tape or using my tape runner. I'm just going to each of these corners. There we go. A little bit towards the top, but pretty centered. And then with this one, we're going to do one big foam circle to kind of see that style. And the teamwork for this one was outstanding. And together we have all made another really beautiful card. Ooh, yes. I love it. So far, I think we're 4 cards in. And we can do 1 or 2 more. We still have some time, but before I move on to those, I want to kind of tell you about some more of the upcoming classes. So this one just has that one piece of foam and it really makes for a nice card also. So keep that in mind as another good tip. So some of the other classes we have coming up this week in the 12 days of card making. I have a class on Thursday where I'm going to teach you how to use a 3-step stencil in order to make these Christmas trees. And then we're going to use some similar ideas with the backing paper. So if you buy a big paper stack for today's class, keep that same paper stack and I can show you how to use it in another way with some white cardstock and with some stamps and with some ink. We can make these cool Christmas trees. And then later on in the week on Friday, if any of you are as obsessed with diamond art as I am, we're going to take some of those diamond art pieces that can be ornaments, can be coasters, can be bookmarks, and we're going to turn them into cards. But what's nice about these is that we can attach them in a way that people can take them off and actually hang them on their tree and still have a nice card from you. So that's something kind of fun, is like a bonus of if you love diamond art and you love kind of passing the time and watching TV and doing these kinds of things, then you can give that as a gift to someone along with a Christmas card. It will take a little bit more of a stamp because they do add a little bit of weight. The cards that we're making today and the stamp stencil cards that we're making don't need any extra stamps. But if you do add diamond art, you might need a little bit more in order to get that. So I am going to open up another die cut section because I love these die cuts. And I want to show you these adorable ones. I believe this one, I had the name of it, but I don't know the name of it right off. It has these cute gingerbreads. It has some green stockings. It has some different sentiments than the ones we've already seen. So these can go with the papers I've already shown you. I like this one. It kind of fits in that blue, green, red we've been going with in our paper stack. But I really like this snow globe too a lot. And just like the other one, it has some stickers, it has some cardboard, and then it has some see-through stickers that you can choose to mount like we did at the very beginning. So this one has a super cute Santa. See how you can see through it? And a super cute snowman. So you might want to mount those onto something and then be able to put them on paper. I'm going to kind of flip through those pink ones again to show you how I use these. So with the Santa, I took the sticker and I mounted it on white cardstock. And then in the other pack I showed you, which is called Holiday Cheers, Holiday Cheers has a lot of the reds and pinks and kind of gingerbread color together. So I had that sticker, I mounted it with my foam, I put it on a cute little checkered background. And then I think in a lot of, I can also add more stickers inside if I want to, or a stamp. I love this gingerbread. It is so stinking cute. And I really like this paper that has the brown to match the gingerbread. This is how I chose to use the one gingerbread house that you already saw. I put it on kind of like a little street with some gingerbread in the background. This one kind of reminds me of like a holiday stamp. And so I went ahead and mounted it on some different color paper. It's a little bit of a light brown kind of paper, and it goes nicely with that gold foil on the outside. I love this snowman. He ends up so cute. I did mount him on cardstock so that he wasn't so see-through. And then I cut around and added my foam. And I really like this one a lot too with all those cute poinsettias. But even though I use them with the reds and pink papers, I really think we can make them work with our paper set that we have out already. So let's kind of keep looking through these and find one that we want to try with our paper set and see how we can play with these sets together. Oh, I have one more fun thing to show you, and that is another little stack of cards I have hiding over here. So there are other sizes. Michael's also carries these. I believe they are 3.5 by 8.5. And these have red foil or they have gold foil. These are really nice long cards. So if you want something long and thin, this would make for some good money holders. If you want to give out some hot cash this Christmas season. I think everybody wants one of your cards with a nice cash prize inside of it. So please send that to me. But I love this. So I got these different die cuts. I got these different kind of candy things. And then this is what I was showing you before, where you can take some of the stickers from one of the other little sticker kits and kind of put an inside pop of a sticker too, to kind of match the outside of what's going on. So this is what we call the sprinkle shop. And this is kind of like the fun, bright color Christmas that Michael's has going on. Lots of kind of candy references, lots of candy canes, lots of color. But these are all the different kinds that I used using a different stack, which is more focused on those those candy colors. And then this one you can tell, and maybe you could tell on this one, I embellished a little bit more with adding some of these jewels. So all of these crafting materials are all available at Michael's. And so you can just play around and get a couple stacks, get a couple of sets of blank cards. Whatever size blank card you want can work. And there you go. All right, these are very fun and they are very easy. So somebody said if you add something like a diamond printed or wood cut, would you have to either add bubble wrap or create something around it to keep your item? So I think if you're sending this in the mail and it has something like one of these diamond pieces, you can put one of those thin pieces of foam on it to kind of keep it from making indentations in the rest of the envelope. I think that's a great idea. If you have one of those little pieces of slim paper to put over top of it, all of that works nicely. Oh, Maddie, this is so great. Thank you for finding it. So the Merry Magic was the name of the die cut section I'm showing you with all these cute gingerbreads and things. Thank you for finding that. All right. I was drawn to the snow globe, but I think some of you were drawn to the gingerbread. So I'll keep both of those out and we'll see if we can find papers that both of these can love. But look how this can play really nicely with this same paper stack. I really like that they can mix and match like that. Gives you a lot of good usage. All right. Ooh. That could do. Not quite. I really like this poinsettia one, or this little holly ivy. What is this? Is that poinsettia? No, mistletoe, right? Okay. I like both of those with that. Can keep that in mind. I love this snowflake. I want to use it for something. So I might end up using it for one of these two because both of these look good on it. I'm gonna rip that out. Let's see what else. That could work. Snowflake and gingerbread. All right, thanks for playing. Ooh, I like this dark blue. I guess I didn't see that dark blue before. That might have been really nice with the other one. I like this too. Think about that. So even though this is a large printed piece, we can still find parts of it that we could use. This is really kind of cool. I think I might use that. All right, we got some more ideas. In this 1 hour, we're going to knock out almost 10 cards. Okay. I'm going to cut this to 5 by 7. And I don't think the pattern on this one is really going to interfere, but we'll double check. There we go. And yeah, I think it's going to be fine. However we cut it down, it's still going to fit pretty nicely. There we go. And I love how the snowflake is going to match the gold foil on the outside of the card. I think that's going to be a cool extra touch. Love it. Pulling out the big gun. Here we go. Yeah, that's a great call. So someone in the chat said that if you have some of those striped papers, instead of cutting them straight like we have been so far, you can cut them on a diagonal, and then that can add a little bit of extra touch, kind of something special to look at for the interest for your background. So thanks for that tip. That's a great idea. Love it. I love this gingerbread. Very cute. I think that's all I need. I think this is truly a quick and easy with just attaching this gingerbread. I am putting a little bit more foam because this one's a little bit flimsier. If it was one of the cardboards, I think I like the idea of just putting one, but when it's a little flimsier like this, I want to give it a little more help. I could back it on cardboard like I did with some of the other ones, And then that would add that little bit of extra support. So yeah, if you're making along with me, which I think some of you might be, I'd love to see what you're making. Feel free to share them with us. You can also find us at Learn with Michaels on Instagram. Or me personally, I have some more of my cards on the number 4M Coleman. You can check that out on Instagram. Follow Learn with Michaels. Feel free to go ahead and tag us if you make anything, because we'd love to share it with everybody. So show off some of the things you're making. Let us see what you're doing. And if you join any of the other classes, go ahead and tag some of your different cards so we can have lots of ideas. I love this gingerbread. Love it. Adorable. Love it. All right, let's do one more and then we'll wrap it up. Do I find the round foam to be more useful than the square ones? I have today because a lot of our shapes were round. It doesn't really matter, but when I'm doing something like this rectangle, I usually go for the squares and just put it in the 4 corners with the squares. But because I've been doing so many of the funky shapes, I do think that I've been using a lot more of the rounded ones today. So I'm going to kind of play with this paper and find a part of it that I think is going to work for what I want to do with it. Let's see. I'm going to try and put the snow globe on this one. So I can decide what part do I want to put it over here with, like the dove. I don't think so, because I don't think I like the different size difference. I think I'm going to put it more over on this side. So let's see if I can get a nice 5x7 over here. I think I like that quite a bit. And then I'll cut it down so I can show a little bit of the gold foil with some snow at the tip. Yes, just a slight dusting at the top. You're right. I'm going to leave the dove because I like it. Or I can cut off the dove. I think I'm going to cut off the dove. Changed my mind. And I'm going to have a white border like I did one of those other ones. And on my card, I'm going to have some white. So then I want to cut my border down here too, to make sure that I have kind of an even spacing. Yeah, I agree. Cut this down just a little bit. So you can see it's not always an exact science. It's a figuring out as I go. But you got plenty of supplies. Love that. I love that white border. All right, big gun, here we go. It's time to shine. And I think this is sturdy enough for me to do my 1 dot. So you'll be impressed. I'm trying to control my mess right now since I'm live with you on this video. But if I'm doing this by myself, you better believe my whole craft room is card making. It is gonna be awesome. Oh, I love this. So sweet. So sweet. All right, that is it for today. So we have made ourselves all sorts of cards. Let me see if I can find some of them as I was tossing them as we went. And I will find the rest of my paper cutter. I really like this Happy Holidays one that we made. I like the one at the very beginning where we made it with the, well, here are our ones. We made our sleigh bells ring. We have those beautiful shining gold backgrounds. We did our all is merry and bright, and we used one of those little sentiment pieces and we mounted a sticker. So we saw both of those techniques. We also pulled off this ho 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 with the light blue. And now that I see this dark blue, I could have played with that dark blue with it too. So all of these we were able to make very quickly in this 1 hour class. And now that I'm on a roll, I could keep cranking these out and keep making and making and making. So please feel free to tag us at Learn with Michaels and show us what you're making. I've really enjoyed card making with you today. I hope you get lots of great, beautiful cards in the mail, and I hope you keep watching all 12 days of card making. Maybe I'll see you again soon. Bye.